Hello, and thanks for joining us today wherever you are in the world. So welcome to the first in our weekly series of the Lawo Lounge. The idea here is for you to sit back, relax, and be entertained and educated by us. Today, we're going to introduce you to some of the faces in our organization, talk shop about one of our product lines, and give you the chance to win some of our Lavo giveaways. This and more coming up in the show. Now, as we are live, if you have any questions during the show, then please don't hesitate to send them in via the chat function, and we will answer them before the end of the show. So, what's mixing in your kitchen? Well, here I am in my kitchen, still working from home, and look what I mixed up here. A Lavo blue smoothie. We're going to come back to this interesting title shortly. But first, in our series of Meet and Greet, I sat down earlier this week to chat with Sam Shaolin, our Senior VP of Global Operations. Hi Sam, so firstly, thanks for agreeing to be my first victim of this Meet and Greet series. So tell me, how does a German working for a German company then end up in Toronto?
Hi Jamie, thanks for having me. My personal Lavo story starts with the Euro 2016, where we did for the first time ever an IP-based video production system at that scale. And that project was a huge challenge, but also turned out to be a huge success for the company, and it's the baseline still to a lot of stuff that we do today. And it gave me the perfect opportunity to get to know the people, the technology, and I was convinced this is the right place to work, and I stayed.
Yeah, the rest is history, as they say. So your role today is the Senior VP of Global Operations. So tell me, what does a typical day look like for Sam Shaolin?
Yeah, so I lead the Sales Solutions Engineering team. That is a team of about 70 people scattered across the planet, and we do everything from pre-sale support, system consulting, and project delivery. And as I said, we're a worldwide team, so my typical day is oriented according to the time zones. So typically I have meetings and conference calls in the morning with Europe and Asia, and then I turn my focus to the Americas region in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Now, Sam, I don't know if you know this, but internally we know you as the fittest guy in the company. Because you do Ironman races. So tell us, what's the craziest race you did?
I would say for me the most memorable race is the Escape from Alcatraz, where you basically swim from Alcatraz to the shore and then you bike and run. And it was just, the concept is amazing. The organization of the event is great. It was great weather. Great scenery. San Francisco is a great city anyway. So that's hard to beat.
So you really escaped from Alcatraz, eh?
Yeah.
So thanks, Sam. Great talking to you. Just to say, I don't think I'm going to be joining you for a run anytime soon. Okay, thanks a lot. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you, Jamie. All the best.
Now to the main feature of our program today, where we bring our solutions in focus. With the impacts of COVID-19, broadcasters have been forced to literally turn to at-home productions, with not only distributed production staff and technology spread across countries and sometimes continents, but talent also located at their homes. But as the lockdown measures become less, some challenges will still remain, not least those of social distancing. So today, we want to talk to you about audio production and what solutions we have to support and combat these restrictions. Christian Struck and our audio production team are ready to tell you more. So, Christian, tell me, what's mixing in your kitchen?
Certainly not a blue smoothie, Jamie. Thank you. Before we talk about Mixed Kitchen, we have a guest. We've invited Tom Giles from IMG in the UK, Head of Engineering Studios and Live Galleries, to talk a little bit with us about the challenges and opportunities of remote production scenarios using IP technology and these special COVID-19 times. Hello, Tom. Can you hear me?
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. So Tom, let's jump into it. With regards to IP networks, what types of workflows are you exploring at IMG? Do you see any advantages or new production scenarios that you are looking into using that technology?
Yeah, we are. I mean, we have, as you know, we have a number of sound desks here at IMG, and we are. It's all about. Firstly, there's the return on investment, which is. If we can only control the surfaces within the building, then when there aren't shows happening, they're sitting there not doing a lot. So we're looking at that kind of flexibility of being able to either control our cores from remotely, or indeed controlling other people's cores with our services. So there's kind of two ways that we're looking at that, and they're both based around that kind of IP topology that will allow us to be more flexible and sort of scale our productions and our audio setups accordingly.
So it would make your engineers travel less, I think, and would also reduce the idle time of your control rooms within the IMG facility, right?
Yeah, and I think the idle time is a really, really interesting point. That sort of seems like something that we're trying to explore to make sure that we are absolutely getting value for money.
Cool. Well, as we all know, there are special times right now, COVID-19 times, and I'm curious to see if there are any special challenges that you need to take into your account for your engineers, any problems that need to be solved that weren't there before, or especially thinking about social distancing measures. What is the impact for your team?
Well, there's a lot. It's a good question. We are in these. I think everyone's using the words unprecedented times, and the social distancing that's come in force. We have to really make a solid business case for every individual that comes to the building, and equally the safety of and welfare of our staff and our freelancers that come in and mix our shows. We're really strong considerations for that too. So at the moment, the room that I'm in, we would normally comfortably have two people sat in here working, and now it's about how do we have that guarantee engineer being able to support the A1's mixing, but not within the room. So he needs to be able to have remote access to this board, but they are so that he can look at the diagnostics of something that may have gone wrong, or he needs to reroute a source, or whatever that's happened, whatever the requirements are. He needs to have full control, but outside of here, because otherwise, we open up the challenges of the social distancing, and that's not what we're trying to do.
So it sounds like you really need the full variety of remote control options from a pure software front end to really look at some, do some troubleshooting, as you explained, up to a fully blown MC squared surface that maybe can be the control room for the A1 when he's not sitting in the same room like the A2 organization.
Exactly that. Yeah, I think both of those opportunities are of interest to us.
Thank you, Tom. I think we should take a look at the solutions that we have to support that sort of challenges and workflows. Thank you, Tom. Stay safe.
Thank you very much.
Hope to see you soon. So now let's talk about Mixed Kitchen and the various options we have at Lavo to support remote mixing from software-based interfaces up to the fully blown remote control via an MC² surface. Let me introduce Frank and Lucas. The scenario we have here is there is the headquarter in Rastatt. We have a data center here. That's where the processing core is sitting. And connected to this, we have a 48 fader MC² 56 Mark III surface in our demo room. That's where I'm located right now. And then we have two outside locations. One is Lucas' home in Karlsruhe in Germany. And we have Frank's home, which is in Antwerp, Belgium. Let's start with Frank. Frank, in this COVID-19 times, you have been lucky enough to be equipped with a 32 fader 56 Mark III surface in your home. You have been doing online presentations and demos with clients, so obviously you have a local processing core. But recently you got upgraded with the latest gate server technology. And what does that mean? What can you do with the gate server other than you could do before? Maybe you can tell us a bit about this.
Thank you, Christian. Yes. Hi, welcome from my home in Antwerp. Yes, so my 32 fader 56 is currently equipped with the gate server, and the gate server allows us to connect the control surface to any core using layer 3. And in this case, I've got a VPN into the network in Rastatt, and I've connected my control service directly to the same core that Christian is connected to. So I can mix on that core from my home if I wanted to.
Okay, so can you show us the console? That would mean that everything you do in Antwerp is visible here and vice versa, right? Did I get that right?
Absolutely, yeah. I'll switch to the camera and you can see that. So this is my 32 fader console, and if I go and move some faders up and down, you will see in the console next to Christian, I'm moving faders up and down. So that is cool and scary at the same time.
So that means you could be some kind of supervisor functionality that kind of remote controls into the mixing console, but I could also work on the same production with you, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So we share everything. So my keyboard is essentially connected to your computer, same as your keyboard. So we operate the same production file, and I can either be the mixer at home mixing on that console and doing my mix totally safe from any viruses, but I could also help you and assist you in your mix when you're mixing on site, and you might not have either the time or the skills to do it all yourself.
Cool. So and what about these 16 faders here to my right? I think mine console is bigger than yours. So when I do something here, you don't see this, which basically means I could mix on a separate section of the console, and you would be isolated from that because you only have access to 32 faders, right? Which would give some more options in terms of two-man operation, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so you've got faders that I don't have, so I can't directly access them. I could still call up the channel onto my display and do something to it if you ask me to, but I don't have this direct fader control because I only have the central and the fader section right next to it. So any additional panels I don't see right here. So I did see you move something, and there were no faders moving on my console.
So Frank, and what do you do about monitoring? I mean, certainly you need to survey and monitor what you're really mixing from a distance.
Yeah, obviously we need full monitoring. I always jokingly say to my wife, so now if I turn on the television, I can mix directly to whatever is on air, but there's all sorts of problems with it. And we also want to have PFL. So you can use essentially any codec to get the audio back and forth. So whether you want, obviously it needs to be real time and it needs to be high quality. So things like Lucy Live or Unity Connect are obviously all available. But if you have already some codec going back and forth, you can obviously use that.
So that means that the actual transmission audio and raw signals don't need to travel across, and you're just tunneling, monitoring, and real-time control information, correct?
That's absolutely correct. So if I lose my internet, I might get a heart attack, but the on-air audio is not affected. I just won't be able to control it anymore from my home.
That's really cool, Frank. Can you switch a bank, Frank?
Yes.
Don't mess up my setup, but switch a bank. It's so exciting.
I can switch a bank without messing up the console. So I go to the bank switching, and I will then switch between the different banks, and the console at your end will mimic that.
So cool. Thank you, Frank. Effectively, this was really the large-scale version of remote mixing, so using a fully blown MC² surface for highest demands. Now let's take a look at the other end of the scale, and let's bring Lucas into the game. Lucas, I can see you have the mix kitchen set up in your living room. Would you mind showing us a little bit how this setup looks like?
Hi, Christian. Certainly, thank you. So welcome to my home, and I've got the mix kitchen built up here. And Mixed Kitchen was a project that we were pursuing over the last couple of weeks in times of social distancing. So we really wanted to help our customers to still work with their environment, but back from home. So let me show it to you in more detail. Okay, so basically the Mixed Kitchen setup consists of, in my case, 3 major parts. So I have one big touchscreen right in front of me that represents the main channel display of the console. So everyone who was sitting in front of an MC² console will right away recognize that one. So it's the central UI that I can use for all the operation of the console. So in my case, I have the metering view up, and I can use it for bus assignment, just as you're familiar with. Second to that, I have another MXQ instance running on this tablet PC. And on this tablet PC, I have a lot of buttons positioned on the monitoring panel that I can use to make the operation of this overall system more easy. So first of all, I have my banking buttons positioned here. So Christian, if I change the bank on my surface here, can you confirm that the banks are switching on your console in Rastatt as well?
Obviously, yes.
And as you can see, the third part of my overall system, so this fader panel did also react on what I'm doing. So, and the third part, last not least, is for me maybe the most important one. Because while we have a beautiful virtual environment, having some real physical hardware was very important to us. That's why we just took a regular Mackie Hui fader panel that you could buy at B&H, Thomann, or whatever guitar shop you prefer, and just hook up to the system. So the fader panel is talking via RTP MIDI straight away with the console core back in the data center in Rastatt. And what we did is we mapped all the buttons, faders, and the V-pods of this panel back to the console. So by default, the panel is looking onto the main faders 1 to 8. So if I adjust those 2 faders, the main faders at Christian's place 2 and 3 should move.
They do, yeah, they do.
Okay, beautiful. But yeah, now you might say, okay, 8 faders might be a little bit limited. So that's where really this small touchscreen comes into game. Because we're not only using it for remote controlling the main display for us, so by bringing up several different GUI pages, but we also have some special buttons positioned here that we call remote GUI assign buttons, and that basically define on which area of the console this 8-fader panel is currently looking at. So by pressing 1 to 8, I just tell the panel, okay, please look on my strips 1 to 8. By pressing 9 to 16, I just move them over to the faders 9 to 16. Doing that, I actually have a pretty neat and fast possibility to control all the faders that are positioned over my MC² console surface, no matter how big this console surface is.
Wow, that's cool. So it looks like you really have all faders and all banks and all layers perfectly under control. But is it limited to fader control, or do you have also accessibility of other parameters?
That's a good point, Christian. So we have all the buttons on this hardware fader panel as well. And what we did is that we mapped these buttons to actual functionality of the console surface. So the select buttons really control our channel and access. So if we look on our main screen, where we have the access channel on the upper left corner, if I select another channel, I can see that the access channel is changing. That really helps a lot if I'm in the main display mode, where I really want to have the overview of the channel that I'm currently controlling. So we have select, we have taken the mute button. The solo button of this panel is mapped to PFL, so that I have the possibility to pre-listen to the channel and have more control of what I'm doing. The arm record button is actually mapped as well. And what we did is we mapped this one to the fader user button number 1. So MC² users are really familiar with why fader user buttons are really helpful. So you can put things like snap isolate on them, activate or deactivate single processing blocks. So for example, in our case, we have the compressor mapped here. And last not least, we have the VPOT. So the VPOT on this panel is at the moment mapped to the panning. So if I change to the panning view of this channel that I can currently see, so I can see, okay, that really controls my x-axis. However, the VPOT would not be limited to be mapped to the panning. We could also have other things there like delay or gain. So to make it easier for me to identify what faders I currently have mapped on here on this panel, I have this permanent metering overview in my channel display. And the left 8 meters that are shown here are always equivalent to what I'm having on the panel itself. But this is really only more or less about the control side of things. But the audio control room environment is considerable more than that. So you can see the nice grass green speakers next to my channel display, and they are connected the same way to the backend in Rastatt like we're doing it with Frank's location. So we're using an audio codec that is transmitting the control room monitoring over the WAN link. To control the control room monitoring, I have the monitoring section on my surface here, the same way as I have it on the regular MC² console. So I can just select what I want to listen to. And this will feed the codec that goes over the link. Beside that, I also have access to the computers that are located in my data center. So for example, I have my multi-track PC. This multi-track PC is really located in Rastatt, and using MX GUI, I can really easily bring the picture, the KVM, over here to my place. So that's using the regular integrated remote desktop that you're familiar with MC² consoles. And the same thing works also for other PCs. In the same manner, I have access to my plugins. So I have a Wave SoundGrid Super Rack kit in the demo room in Rastatt, and I can access it right from here and also control everything that I'm doing. Okay, so we covered audio and control. But what about all the other gear that we normally control from our audio control room back in the facility? Based on MX GUI, we really have an easy but fast solution for that. So switching the control room panel on the right side of MX GUI, we can see that MX GUI transports a VSM panel implemented back to our host. And based on that, we have all the functionality on our fingertips that we are normally used to in the facility. So it's not about controlling camera mic gains, for example, but in the end, we can control hundreds of third-party devices, including video routers. Talking about video, MX GUI brings another big advantage to us. So we have a kind of built-in multi-viewer. Based on our VLine devices, we can show the video live view thumbnails that you know from the console surfaces already. And based on the VSM panel, I can actually really control what I want to see here. Another small thing we did is we put up a small SDI camera on top of the console in Rastatt. So this brings a couple of possibilities, so I can really see if everything works well down in the facility when moving my faders here at my place. But that's not the only thing. We can also see Christian waving into the camera.
Wow, what a setup. So really feels to me like you have everything you need. So does it mean you would be able to run a proper TV show from your home now? Or did I get that wrong?
Well, Christian, I would really say so. So any scripted show, so shows we are familiar with, we've done maybe dozens of times, I would really be happy to control right from here. And that brings a lot of advantages. So it's not only good for the environment, but might also be beneficial for my personal work-life balance. And my family is happy if I can stay at home more often.
Thank you, Lucas. A really exciting setup. So we have seen now a couple of different solutions, from a pure touchscreen solution for remote mixing up to the fully fledged MC256 surface that can remote control our mixing core back here in the data center with the approach that Frank showed us. It looks like we have a couple of different options here. And if you're interested in learning more about the mix kitchen in particular, the ingredients and the recipe, we're going to show and share the information via email after this webinar.
Hey everyone, it's Frank Marsh from Lavo. Did you know that you can add images and videos to the fader displays on the MC2 console? Let's go and have a look. For that we go into the thumbnail assignment page. The system comes with a collection of preloaded images which you can use right away, but you can obviously also upload your own. I've got the Lavo logo uploaded to position 19 and another one to position 20. And I can link any of the available images to either a DSP channel or a physical input. Since I have 4 DSP channels already on my control surface, I'm going to use input channel 1 to 4 to display this. So I put the logo, which is in position 19, on input 1. There it is. And I'll put the image on position 20 on input 2. There we go. Similarly with video, I have a device that provides me with 4 streams. I'll take the first stream and put that on input 3. And there it is. And as soon as I touch any of the faders, the logo or video that is assigned to it will be full screen in that fader display, so I have an even better look. Obviously, this is a great addition to any classic text labeling. Well, there you go, now you know.
PowerCore Gateway. PowerCore Gateway is the latest addition to the options of stage boxes for MC2 series consoles. It features 8 additional expansion slots on the rear of the device for various I/O cards, such as microphone, line-in-out cards, or AS3 conversion to IP. The device is fully wide area network compatible and features latest security standards and transmission standards according to SMPTE 2110 and 2022-7. The device is fully integrated with MC2 series consoles and allows remote control of all important private parameters of the signals. Using the PowerCore RP license, the device is turned into a fully fledged remote production solution with graphical user interfaces for remote and away side, with integrated processing capabilities for up to 64 inputs and 16 stereo aux buses for low latency IFB mixing. It uses the 8 modular I/O slots on the rear of the device and uses the WAN-capable streaming ports on the front of the device in case you want to put the signals on the network, or use alternatively the MADI ports in case you want to feed a MADI-driven embedder to use SDI infrastructure. This is the flexibility of the PowerCore platform.
In 2019, a new cutting-edge purpose-built media park was built in the French part of Switzerland, in Fribourg, to bring several media departments of the Radio Fribourg group together under one roof. With radical and new automated workflows, a Lavo IP infrastructure and control solution is at the heart of this modern facility. Take a look as we go on the road.
The idea we had at Media Park was to bring together a number of disciplines from the media sector at large. Media Park aims to provide a broad media offering. We like to call it our 360-degree approach. Information has been and always will be our core business. We are the only ones to produce high quality and thoroughly research regional and local news in this area.
MediaPark had a vision. They wanted to share all signals among their radio stations and the TV channel. This is only feasible in the IP domain.
Lavo has powerful solutions for television, like vMatrix and vRemote 4. One cool feature is that we can control them remotely. At MediaPark, we have a TV set and a separate TV production control room. Both are connected to the studio in Lausanne. Thanks to Lavo, we are able to control operations remotely.
We connected Fribourg and Lausanne using Lavo V Remote 4 units. Each of these units provides 4 bidirectional streams between the two sites. The infrastructure we have here is a true all-round media system. This means the exact same audio and video resources are available to our radio stations and the TV channel. The audio and video streams are synchronized via PTP. This is another breakthrough because audio and video used to rely on different sync protocols. In our case, however, all audio, video and metadata essences are synchronized to one clock. Each station has its own virtual on-air lane on the IP network. Resources like radio studios, the production studio and even external sources can easily be connected to the desired on-air lane.
Our starting point was, how can we work efficiently with minimal technical and operational clutter based on an all-new workflow? That was the riddle we wanted to solve. Another crucial aspect for us was to find ways of collaborating with La Télé station and the social media channels on the first floor of this building. We saw the importance of creating joint radio and TV shows. The project I'm referring to is produced in the newsroom just behind me. It is aired live on La Télé TV and also on Radio Fribourg. Paced like a radio show, it offers the visual appeal of a TV show. We are combining the best of the radio and TV worlds. That is what the technology installed at the MediaPark needs to deliver.
Radio can leverage the expertise of the TV crew, especially regarding production techniques for visual radio. Conversely, television benefits from the radio department's audio competence regarding sound quality. The technology we use today is extremely important. Without it, we wouldn't be able to run the radio stations and the TV channel like we do today. Lavo supplied the equipment for everything to do with audio. It is used for both the radio channels and the TV offering. We also use Lavo's video products in Le Télé's TV production control room and for visual radio applications.
All streaming aspects, frame storage and multi-viewing are handled by Lavo's vMatrix. This is a powerful and versatile platform that covers a wide variety of applications. It has become MediaPark's core unit for everything to do with video processing. Additionally, we use Ravenna for audio transport in a redundant 2022-7 setup. This allows us to transmit 2 separate streams to the vMatrix and other devices. We also frequently work with IP-based duplex connections between Lausanne and Fribourg. The production studio is a multi-purpose studio equipped with a Ruby console and a PowerCore XL engine for live radio shows. Opposite the Ruby sits an MC2 production console for projects that require more audio sources. A lot at MediaPark is controlled by Lavo's VSM Virtual Studio Manager. In addition, I can schedule events in the broadcast automation system that inform the SLG Broadcast Suite software about visual radio events I need during a show. That software talks to the Lavo radio console and the other systems involved in radio production. With a single press, operators can recall graphic elements for the digital signage system, close and open the blinds, control the lighting system, and a lot more. Everything has been automated. In addition, everything is recorded automatically. We can trigger Facebook Live and Periscope Live and control a variety of functions with this system. To my knowledge, no other manufacturer is currently able to provide media systems that combine audio and video in such a comprehensive, flexible and feature-rich way as Lavo. The network installed at Media Park consists of a number of blocks that process audio, video and other streams for a variety of applications. I think it's safe to say that this is a whole new ball game.
Sadly, that's all from the Lawo Lounge today. But before we go, a chance for you to win some Lavo giveaways in our 50 years quiz. All you have to do is email us with the answer to this simple question. In which year did Lavo introduce its very first video product? Was it A, 2012, B, 2014, or C, 2016? So send your answer and your contact details to lavolounge@lavo.com for your chance to win. Good luck. So, thanks for being with us today. I look forward to welcoming you again at the same time next week for more education and entertainment at the Lavo Lounge. In the meantime, please take care, stay healthy, and stay connected. Goodbye.